567, Justice for Tyrone West, and Justice for all victims of police brutality. Tawanda, it's all you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I apologize that I couldn't be live on the screen, but it's raining cats and dogs out here, and I'm kind of like pulled over on the side of the road type of thing, but again, thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to play the video that we play every week, and we'll be right back with you.
Can't stop, won't stop, till killer cops are in cell blocks. Can't stop.
The following video portrays an incident of assault and violence at the hands of police. Viewer discretion is advised.
I suggest you back the fuck up. No.
This is Baltimore City Police Officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz. In a video shot in 2016, Ruiz is seen with his knee on the back of an unknown man with a gun pointed at the man's head. His message was a clear one. Concerned onlookers, adhere to my dictates or else. Here, we can hear Ruiz saying to Baltimore residents,
I suggest you back the fuck up. No.
It is documented that Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender, even without access to all complaints against Ruiz, undisclosed by BPD Internal Affairs records. 6 cases involving Ruiz are known. This video will briefly highlight 6 total cases beginning in July of 2013. Case 1, Abdul Salam, July 1st, 2013. Here Salam is seen victoriously smiling in celebration after the jury found Ruiz and 2 other cops liable for brutality against him. However, because the trial was civil, not criminal, Ruiz was not fired and he did not go to jail.
Police profiled me. They followed me in the back of my house, harassing me. Police proceeded to violently and hostilely approach my van with me and my son in it. As I announced, this was my home, guns drawn. Once they reached my vehicle, they violently pulled me out, ramshacked my vehicle with my 3-year-old son strapped in his car seat, threw me against the gate, slammed me repeatedly. Picked me up by my feet, and while I'm upside down, they proceeded to drop me on my head, hog-tie me, and immediately when I fell on my head, Ruiz, in a wrestling type of action, and kind of hit his knee against my neck. I was arrested. I had no idea what I was being arrested for. My son is scarred to this day. He remembers the incident as it happened yesterday. When he talks about it, he always refers to daddy being on the floor with police yesterday.
Case 2, Darrell Harris, profiled, as seen in this video, July 17th, 2013.
Yeah, Sid, what's wrong with it? Improper way with it. There's no such thing as an improper way.
You gonna tell me my job, bro?
I know the law.
Are you gonna tell me the law?
I know the law.
You gonna tell me the law?
I know the law. What's the problem? You giving me a ticket? You need my license registration?
Yeah, let me get it.
To profile, y'all use the seatbelt as a reason. Profile.
Sir, do me a favor, take out your keys.
Dad, you can record for what? Nah. I don't feel safe right now. Do you want me to step out the car? Do you want me to step out the car? I'll step out the car. Call the police, man. What do you call a supervisor? I wrote the new shit. This is getting uploaded to the internet right now.
Yeah? And we are 2 law-abiding citizens that we're getting targeted, and I don't know why.
Just 24 hours later, Bernardez Ruiz played a leading role in the police killing of unarmed Tyrone West. Case number 3, the murder of Tyrone West, July 18th, 2013.
My brother Tyrone West was brutally murdered on July the 18th, 2013.
In both of these cases, when you look at the pleadings,
and the harsh language of these officers that have been quoted to me by reliable witnesses. The N-word.
And Killer Ruiz and Killer Chapman and the rest of those 11 or 15 killers, including David Lewis, took something from my family that they could never give us again. And that was my brother Tyrone West, one unarmed man who was brutally murdered, beat to death in broad daylight.
All right, Tawanda, you're on.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
I was just waiting for the official mic check. But thank you guys for tuning in to West Wednesday. This is week 567, and that's a very long time to be fighting for anything. But we're fighting for my big brother Tyrone West and literally all the victims of police brutality and murder. So, it's just really sad that, a lot has been taking place, and my brother is not here to actually celebrate just being here living on earth. It's just really sad. Like, I just had my first T baby, as I call it, because I'm a T mom. But nevertheless, and just experiencing that beautiful blessing this week, actually on June the 3rd, and literally 3 years ago on June the 3rd, my grandmother, the queen, the eldest person of the family, pretty much funeral was on that day that my beautiful baby girl was actually born. So it's just really sad that, again, my brother's not here to make jokes with me. And, because when he had his first grandchild, I teased him, so he didn't get a chance to tease me, but it's a blessing. It's definitely a blessing. But we always used to make old men and old women jokes with each other, even though he's my big brother. But I know because I had so many old man jokes with him, I know he definitely would have had a few jokes lined up for me. But nevertheless, just like watching that video, it really makes me sad and disgusted. And the night I had my sister Nicole on, and she literally lost her father-in-law, Anthony Anderson, literally, and then you turn right around and she lost her 16-year-old baby. I couldn't imagine her pain. But I just appreciate her strength and still fighting for accountability, not just for her father-in-law, but for her baby girl. So I'm going to bring Nicole. Do you want to say anything and share anything with us, please?
Yes, I just wanted to say that, Tawanda, I thank you so much for always inviting me here to West Wednesday and being a part of the coalition. It's really an honor to know that I have people who are willing to stand up and to fight for something that is so precious. And it's just, like you said, this has been a long fight to not really see the justice that we need and deserve for our loved ones. I when I first met you and everything, I didn't even know I would even be a part of West Wednesday for this long. I just thought that I probably would come out a couple of times and, show face and then go on about my regular life. But as the years and the days and stuff went on, I started to really feel what was going on, and I really wanted to be a part of it. I really wanted to try to make a difference so that nobody else would have to experience what we all have experienced being a part of this coalition. And I thank you so much for being there for me. I can call you whenever I need you, because sometimes I'm feeling so down, I'm feeling so low. It's like, I feel like, am I doing all of this in vain? Nothing is being accomplished, but getting that extra push, knowing that there's somebody out there, that's also going through what I'm going through. Not that I want anybody to go through this, but it's just a simple fact. It feels good to know that I have
sisters and brothers that I can lean on and that can lean on me when we need each other from time to time. But that was all that I wanted to say. Thank you so much. And your strength it doesn't go unseen. We all see it. We all appreciate it. And we all strive to continue on with the strength that you have to do what you're doing. Mike check.
Mike check.
Mike check. Thank you, my queen, and I appreciate that. And also giving my sister Angela a shout out. She lives in North Carolina, but yet and still she makes a 4 to 5 hour drive to come and support her brother Timothy Flemings. Like, she should not have to do that. Her brother Timothy Flemings should be here. Like, our loved one should be here, and that's the problem. And then when you talk about corruption of these crooked cops or this crooked system, no one wants to talk about that. And I was just looking at the tragedy that happened with the beautiful officer Kiana Holly. I hope I'm saying her name correctly, because I'm horrible with names, so please don't judge my heart. But nevertheless, that was sad how she was killed on duty and whatnot. It's just sad. But it was interesting that, as horrible as it may be, but the guy that's accused of it, he pretty much said it was a hit. He pretty much said how the Baltimore City Police Department was in conspiracy with it and everything else. And they pretty much just dismissed that, knowing how corrupt these officers are. And then they got a statement that, pretty much said, and it was on Fox 45, that pretty much said that Ivan Bates pretty much looked into the claims and none of it was proven to be true. Well, first of all, if the trial and all the sentencing was yesterday, and literally the packet was just open, I don't know how many days ago the letter was sent, I only have details, but my whole thing is, let's say if they got all this information on Monday or whatever, this week, that's no time to investigate anything. So for you to dismiss something, you're supposed to take all claims serious. I love what the sister said. And she sounds like a powerful sister that's going to fight for her sister, because she said no one, and I agree, no one wakes up in the morning and says, hey, I'm going to go kill this police officer, this beautiful police officer, and then in that split moment, I'm going to go and kill another young man. Nobody wakes up and does that. And I'm not an investigator, and I hate to always sound like a conspiracy theory, but something anybody knows, it's a lot to that. And they need to find out, because that family needs answers. Not only the officer family, but as well as the young man that was murdered. They need answers. And if this is a city that would rather sweep stuff up underneath of the rug instead of digging up the facts. They'll just sweep it over, brush it, dismiss it, and keep it moving whenever you want to talk about corruption of any kind. And I always say, they are the biggest gang in America. They are a legalized gang. The difference between a regular gang and them, they are a legalized gang that gets away with bloody murder. And all they have to say was, hey, I fear for my life. And we know how the dirt and the crud and the mud that they're doing. And then we also know, too, around the time when this beautiful officer was murdered, there was a lot of sexual harassment throughout the department, where women were coming forward and saying, hey, this person did this to me, I felt some type of way, or whatever the case may be. Like I said, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but I will say, I smell red. Something's deeper than this. And my thing with any claims, and when you talk about somebody's life being snatched forever, a mother being taken from her beautiful child or children, or I don't know if the other young man had children or whatever, but a human being being murdered, that's supposed to be enough leeway to say, you know what, any accusation, anything, we're going to take all this stuff serious and we're going to investigate. And I'm talking about really investigate. And just like when the gun trace task force was getting away with all that stuff, let's be crystal clear, Baltimore didn't do anything. They didn't do anything about these dirty, crooked officers. Had it not been for the feds coming in, the feds had pretty much had a bug on the car, and then or somebody called when they pretty much somebody like the police department put a bug on the person's car or whatever, a tracking device. I apologize, but a tracking device. And then when they found out it was another tracking device, it got weird. Like, where did this other one come from? And then that's when they pretty much. But it all boils down to that it was in the federal investigation. Outside people had to literally come in because we don't want to clean up our dirt. Our system shows you right now, these police officers can't police themselves. And again, I'm not talking about every officer on the force, because I do know and everything there's good and bad, and we probably do have good men and women that, just want to work and make a difference, be a different changer, different maker or whatever, and they're going to work trying to feed their family, and they're looking bad for all the killer cops. So my thing is, you are a bad cop if you sit around and you know about somebody on your job that's doing dirt and you don't say nothing. That makes you a bad cop as well.
That's
but
right.
If you don't know anything and you don't participate, then you're not. But if you sit by and you watch, if you stand by like how some of those officers, because there was no good officers that night when my brother was killed. Let's be crystal clear. With the whole damn gang of officers that was out there, not one stood up and said, you know what, stop beating this man to death. It was no good officers on the scene of Timothy Fleming when he was gunned down in his freaking home. Not one good officer said, stop, let's not do this. There was no good officers out there when Anthony Anderson was tossed on his head like a basketball, okay?
There you go.
Not one officer said, let's stop, let's get this man treatment. They downplayed his pain and everything. There was no good officers out there when Freddie Gray was murdered. Because if it would have been a good officer, they would have drove this man to get help, or they would have told them animals, stop giving him the rough ride. And then he got a lot of damage, the first time before he was put into the van, and then they made a second note that is unnoted that he was pretty much roughed up again when they made that second stop. Nobody wants to talk about that, but I'm the one to talk about it. Where was the good officers at too when Detective Suter was gunned down and they try to make it seem like, oh, he committed suicide? Where's the good officers that know that this man didn't commit suicide, that will speak up and say, you know what, I have information that it was a hit. You guys, this is what happened to Detective Suter. He would never kill his son. We know that they only did this because they did not want the dirt to come out the bag because he was supposed to testify, and we didn't want people going down. So my thing is, if you are part of any crud and mud, that makes you cruddy as well. So I'm going to do a mic check. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Ed, where was the good officers when they did a home invasion on my sister Adina's house and held her ex and her child under bay and, terrorized them for hours? Where was the good officers at? It was none. Where was the good officers when she called to report their tactics, their bully tactics? Where was the good officers? None. So that's what I want to be crystal clear about. And again, I apologize. I'll do another mic check. Mic check.
Mic check. Would you like to hear the comments that have been put in so far?
Mic check.
Absolutely.
All right, we start with Hillary. Mic check. Bruce also mic check. Bruce, in response to what you were saying, says it's rare to hear of a cop speaking out against police brutality.
Mm-hmm.
Hillary says we need outside folks to investigate all old and new cases of in-custody deaths now. And Bruce responded to that, said definitely. And now Descartes says mic check.
Mic check. And thank everybody for tuning in and everything. And then I wanted to explain why to everybody, because I feel like I owe you guys that. The reason why we didn't, because rain don't stop us. We'd have been outside with our umbrellas tonight, and I definitely would have had mine up because I'm not trying to wet my hair, but I just got it done last night. I was at the hair salon to the wee hours of the night, but that's another story. But my whole point is, rain never stops us. Snow never stops us. Inclement weather never stops us, because my whole point is they don't think about us when they murder us. They don't think about us when they murder us, so we don't think about the weather, you know. But my whole point is the reason why we're not out there is because I'm on the way to my little cousin's prom send-off. You know, it's another big week. Just like my daughter, she graduates on Friday. My beautiful cousin graduates as well on Saturday. So, you know, it's a lot of fun stuff and beautiful things, life memories that my brother is actually missing, and Timothy Flemings is actually missing family things, as well as Anthony Anderson, and as well as my daughter, Nicole's beautiful daughter. So yeah, it's a lot going on. So I'll do another mic check to see if you guys want to comment or say anything. Mic check.
Mic check.
Well, I have to apologize to Descartes because I didn't know you were here. I wouldn't have read the announcements if I know you were here and ready to do it. So it's yours next time.
Awesome. And I want to give them a big shout out for actually being here, and then also wanting to, you know, actually read the comments and questions like that. So big shout out to you, my brother. Thank you so much. Thank you. So yeah. And unfortunately, guys, tonight, unfortunately, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. We have over 20 plus names for the police brutality list. And this is a big problem. If you look at it, this is something that's reoccurring over and over and over again. And then also, and I hate to be every which way and switching up, but that's just how my mind is. I want to send lots of love to my sister Erica Bridgewood, because a big shout out to Ben. Ben had mentioned about Pops, you know, had, you know, accidentally passed away, pretty much had a brain injury and passed away, and they were raising money and things like that. But I never knew that that was my beautiful sister's biological brother, like, because we know that the whole entire city adopted our beautiful queen. Like, I call her my sister, you know, and she has adopted our whole city, because in different circumstances, she will go out there and she will, you know, say good things, bless the ground. And I just remember when my cousin Tavon Anderson was murdered, she actually went to the site where he was murdered at. And I never seen nothing like that. I never seen a healing process go down like that ever in my life. And when I saw my sister kiss the ground, I was like, oh my goodness. And I could actually feel my cousin Tavon's spirit, and we call him Sheiky. I could actually feel Sheik's spirit there saying, oh my goodness, sis, like, not sis, because I can't believe she kissed the ground for me, you know. So this beautiful queen, I'm just sending lots of love for her, and she's been very transparent through the whole process, and that's how I learned, you know, intimate details on what happened, you know. So my heart just goes out to her and send a lot of, and just thanking everybody in advance that donated, that shared, that did everything, because we already know that when a family goes through loss, that's a lot. It's almost too much. It's unbearable pain. And a family should not have to go to on top trying to figure out how they're going to bury their loved ones. And then sometimes life be life. You know, he was in the process, and it's ironic that the same thing went down with my cousin Tavon. He was in the process of getting life insurance and whatnot, but because of the pandemic, things were like slowed down type of thing. And Erica actually, I remember she was one of the first ones to write a check to donate for my brother from Ceasefire, you know, so that was beautiful. And again, so just sending lots and lots of love to my queen. I felt like I, you know, wanted to share that because, you know, even though I lost my big brother, but that's her youngest brother or whatever, one of her young brothers. You know, he's younger than her. I don't know if he's the youngest out of all her brothers, you know, or whatever. But I do know that that is her brother, and he's younger than her. And again, my heart goes out to her, her mom, and the whole entire family. So before we read the sad list, I just wanted to tell everybody just thank you so much. And I wanted to see if anybody wanted to jump in to share or say anything before we actually go to the sad list. And I don't know if our brother Brian is in queue. Is Brian here with the sad list for the community violence?
Yes, I am.
Oh, awesome. Okay. You know, sorry to give you guys these like horrible tests, but right now, because I'm actually in the process of driving, I can't physically pull out our disclaimer, but I just want to add a few just positive words from my heart about the disclaimer. And if all hearts and minds are set, we can actually start it, but I want to check in before we go there. If anybody else want to add or say anything before we go to our sad list. Mic check.
Mike,
Mike
check.
check.
Not here, thanks.
No, not at this time.
So everybody's good?
Yes.
Yeah.
And do we have any more comments or questions to come in?
There are two more. We have a humble hands or praying hands from Nakia Holland. And,
Bless our heart.
and Descartes says, praying for the families of the 20 people who passed away.
Awesome. And yeah, thanks everybody, for their prayers and stuff. And sending a big shout out to my sister Nakia. As I was talking about her, I was telling you guys 2 weeks ago, just praying for her significant other. He was in a terrible car accident during Thanksgiving and whatnot. And he's been in the hospital recovering ever since. So my heart goes out to this beautiful queen who's a mother, who's a teacher, who's just a beautiful person inside and out. So thanks a lot for that. So, okay, we will just definitely go into, unfortunately, this part of the broadcast that I do not like. But it is our mission of the West Coalition to pretty much come from a loving place. We don't have information about, like, detailed information about the lists that we read weekly, and some of the lists that we get, one is on the national level and one is from local levels, and we know that when people get murdered, everybody. We know that they die in different ways, just like the list that we read from, which currently is the Washington Post, and we have been seeking to change our venue to get, all the names. We're actively working with that. We'll keep you guys posted as we go further with that. But nevertheless, we don't have any detailed information. Like, we could, God forbid, read a serial killer's name right now. We don't want to offend nobody by reading a serial killer name, but at the same time, we're just showing respect to family members that are grieving and that is at a loss. And we believe in mediation. If you have a problem, we don't believe in you should fight it out or whatever. You can go to mediation, sit across the table and talk it out type of thing. So yeah, that's where we at. And again, like I said, we don't have any detailed information on none of these cases or whatever. So I'm going to turn it over to Uncle Bill, and he's going to be the one presenting the police brutality list, or Brian, or whoever's going to read the police brutality list. So we can do the community violence list first, and then we can go into the police brutality list. Mic check.
Mic check.
Oh, I'm sorry. And before we go in, it's 7 o'clock. Let's take 2 minutes, guys, for this list, because you can say that right now, and everybody's not into praying, and that's okay as well. Just send positive love, respect towards us right now, towards these families. This could be your loved one. Thank God that it's not, but at the same time, we're all going through something. So just 2 minutes of silence. Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Thank you guys so much. The time now is 7:02, so I'm going to hand it all the way over to our brother Brian. Mic check.
Mic check.
Like that.
Brian, before you start, there's just one more comment I'd like to share. It's from Salam Ishmael, and he says, peace and power. Mic check.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Mic check.
Yeah, and that's a good place to start from.
Like check.
We are we always list the names of people who died by violence in Baltimore in the past week. Sometimes we read names from previous weeks that we hadn't received before. We, do this to honor their memories and to stand in solidarity with their family, friends, and loved ones. And so I would ask you just to echo back the names as I read them off to you. Sheldon Price, 33.
Sheldon Price,
33.
33.
Corey Robinson, 41.
Corey
Robertson, 41.
Jamal Burden, 24.
Jamal Burden,
24.
Joe Lynch, 55.
Joe Lynch, 55.
Jamal Harid, 34.
Jamal Harid,
34.
34.
Thank you.
And I'll be reading the list of people that have been killed around the United States by police. And tonight it's a 1 week period. It's the most recent victims that we're aware of. It's from May the 20th to May the 27th. As Tawanda mentioned earlier, we're planning to shift to a different listing. This one comes from the Washington Post, but they do not include people who were killed by police by means other than shooting. And the other one, Campaign Zero, has a website where they include those deaths as well. So once we get that straight, we'll switch over. For this evening, some of the people, as always, the names have not yet been identified. And so in a case like that, if we can say cell blocks for killer cops and then Ashe in Yoruba, which means let it be so. Let those cops be in cell blocks. The first killing by police was on May 20th in San Diego, California. An unidentified man.
It's up to killer cops, Ashe.
Ashe.
Again on the 20th in Mill Creek, Utah. Again, an unidentified person at this point.
Cell blocks for killer cops.
Ashe.
Ashe. On the 21st in Jacksonville, Florida, once again, a man who has not yet been identified.
Cell blocks for killer cops, Ashe.
Ashe.
On the 21st in Austin, Texas, a 35-year-old Alfonso Gonzalez.
Alfonso Gonzalez.
On the 22nd in Wilmington, North Carolina, 27 years old, Malik Thompson.
Malik Thompson.
On May 22nd in Gulfport, Mississippi, 22 years old, George Jones III.
George Jones III.
On May 23rd in Pasco, Washington, 47 years old, Salih Beslik.
Salih Beslik.
Once again on the 23rd in Perrysburg, Ohio, 23 years old, Bo Pertee.
Bo Pertee.
On the 23rd, yet again, in Rancho Cordova, California, 38 years old, Thomas Convalen. On the 23rd, once more, in Imperial, Mo's, Missouri, right? Or is it Montana? Forgive me for my lack of knowing. Does anyone know? Mo?
No.
All right.
I think that might be Missouri. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it is. Town of Imperial, 45 years old, Terry Pfeffer.
Terry
Pfeffer.
On the 24th in West Palm Beach, Florida, a person who has not yet been identified and we don't know the gender.
Cell blocks for killer cops. Ashe.
Ashe. On the 24th again, this time in Auburn, Washington, 48 years old, Michael Vaughn.
Michael Vaughn.
On the 24th yet again in Porter, Texas, 21 years old, Cadrain Bluford.
Bluford.
Once more on the 24th, oh my goodness, Baltimore, Maryland. I don't know if we know about this. We'll have to check and see if we can reach his family. 39 years old, Baltimore, Maryland, Anthony Ferguson.
Anthony Ferguson. My God.
Yeah. May the 25th in Otto Township, Michigan, 44 years old, Jonathan Jarecki.
Jonathan
Jarecki.
The 25th again in Grover Beach, California. This is a man who has not yet been identified.
Cell blocks for killer cops. Ashe.
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 On the 26th in Brooklyn, New York, 26 years old, Andre Mayfield.
Andre Mayfield. My hometown.
Mine too. May the 26th in Wilson, North Carolina, 48 years old, Ed Edwards III.
Ed Edwards III.
On the 26th, yet again, Jacksonville, Florida, 30 years old, Ray Ross.
Ray Ross.
Once again, on the May the 26th in Haskell, Kansas, 37 years old, Richard Castillo.
Richard Castillo.
May the 26th once more in Florence, South Carolina, 43 years old, William Rankin.
William Rankin.
On the 27th in Detroit, Michigan, a man who has not yet been identified.
Cell block for killer cops. Ashe.
Ashe. Again on the 27th in Chicago, Illinois, 35 years old, Tracy Watson.
Tracy Watson.
Once more on the 27th in Kansas City, Kansas, 41 years old, Jason Burke.
Jason Burke.
And he's the last person whose life was stolen by police that we're upholding this evening. That completes the list of 24 deaths in that 1 week period.
That is so awful, very disgusting. Yeah. And I just want to thank you, Uncle Bill, for sharing that with us. You know, it's so heartbreaking. I know that's a tedious job, you know, reading names of loved ones that should actually be here. But unfortunately, because these bloodthirsty animals that don't have no restraint, that's knowing, hey, I can get away with just saying, because you got to look at the pattern in all of this. They're comfortable. And there's a reason they're comfortable. It's like I teach my children, if somebody go around your so-called friends and they feel comfortable enough to talk about you like a dog, it's something making them feel comfortable. So you got to watch stuff like that. They feel comfortable that they know that they can get away with it.
That's right.
So with all that being said, just remember, live to love to live. And I love you guys all. And we will see you next week. Hopefully we'll be out in these streets. You know, that's the way I like it. So the same way, unfortunately, we brought you in with that video. These are real video, real victims, right? Leading up to my brother, and even after we got to the part leading up to my brother. Now I want to talk about the stuff after that we know. And then if we want to add on the 36, you know, other victims that was assaulted that survived, and it's probably way more than that. And meanwhile, when Killer Ruiz gets to be married to Michelle Battle in the state's prosecutor's office, and they just play with my brother's case like it's a can of paint, just kicking it down the hill. But at some point, the kicking will stop, because we're going to keep on kicking in and make sure that they get accountability, not just for my big brother, Charles Lane, but for all the victims of police brutality and murder. So live to love to live. I love you all. So please stay tuned and watch that video. And if you're on YouTube channel, we ask you to hit like, share, and subscribe. If you're on Facebook, we ask you to hit the like and share button as well. Mic check.
Mike,
check.
And Mr. West begging for his life, and Mr. Salam begging for his child to be excluded and comforted from what was taking place. Not for himself, but for his 3-year-old child.
Case number 4, Adina Britt and family, September 10th, 2015.
My name is Adina Britt, and I wanted to submit a 30-second testimonial that Jorge Omar Bernardez Ruiz is one of the 11 terrorists that came into my house performing a home invasion in September 2015, terrorizing my entire family and even holding my 12-year-old son at gunpoint. He needs to be stopped.
Case number 5, unidentified arrestee, assaulted in 2016.
I suggest you back the fuck up. No, why you
Again, this video did not surface until the summer of 2020. Case 6, Thomas McCullough, May 2016 and February 2017.
I heard my front door coming off the hinges like it exploded.
Thomas McCullough says it happened twice. In May 2016 and February 2017, Baltimore City Police burst through his green front door and raided his Pimlico home.
They said police. They come up, shotguns, guns.
He says officers ransacked the place, looking for drugs, money, and weapons. He took pictures of the damage he says they left behind.
Tell us where the drugs are, the scales, the guns, and the large amounts of money.
Nothing was found. Now he's suing police, claiming officers, including a former member of the Gun Trace Task Force, frightened him, his wife, and father-in-law when the officers conducted what his suit calls an illegal search of his home. The owner of the house tells 11 News after the second raid, he had to replace the front door. McCullough and his attorney say they want Baltimore police held accountable.
There is a colossal breach of trust.
And McCullough tells us following both raids, no one was arrested or charged.
This all begs the question, when will Baltimore City State's attorney see the prosecution of Bernardez Ruiz as warranted?
They were the stopping officers in these so-called jump-out cars, unmarked and so forth, that stopped both the West vehicle and the Salam vehicle without probable cause. And these officers are the ones that also were joined by others, but they are the ones who initiated the stops, pulled both men out of the vehicles, and commenced the vicious activity that was thrust upon them.
And the Officer Ruiz that started this attack is still working and working with promotions. He is now sergeant. But the fact that this repeat violent offender had a history leading up to my brother. There was Darrell Harris, there was James Green, Joseph Green, Abdul Salam. No one family deserves to be brutally murdered or brutalized by this repeat violent offender Ruiz. It is time we take action. The time is now.
Baltimore police officer Jorge Bernardez Ruiz is a repeat violent offender. Based on these accounts, in accordance with the law, we, the West Coalition, call for him to be fired, prosecuted, and incarcerated.
We're more than hashtags and body bags. We're more than being 6 feet in the dirt and pictures and buttons on t-shirts. Our lives matter.
For the safety of our city, the prevention of further harm, and the justice for these families, we see no other option.
And again, I'll say, the time is now.